Hello everyone, here's the real reason why I turned on the camera today, and this is another Serge Lutens. It's actually a first because it's my first Serge Lutens from this Graziel collection. I wanted to get the bell jar, they didn't have it available. I don't know what's happening with Serge Lutens website. Sometimes they're available to buy, sometimes they're not. The bell jars, I mean. This is De Profundis, a fragrance I smelled in this sample from my dear friend some time ago, I believe almost a year ago, and I fell in love with it. And there was a sale on the Serge Lutens website and I couldn't keep my hands away from it. This is a fragrance I wanted to have for quite some time. It's something I've spoken about. I gave my first impressions on De Profundis, and I believe it to be this, let's just leave it at a very, very complex scent, because we'll get into the scent in a moment. But first, let's see the bottle. Haven't opened this. I've been wearing for these, I think it's been more than a week since it came. I've been wearing this sample to keep myself entertained because I wanted to open this bottle with you. And also in today's video we'll talk about 5 other Serge Lutens, because with every purchase you get some samples, and there it is. I think it's a beautiful bottle. I think all Serge Lutens bottles are gorgeous. I love the design elements. I love the naming. I love everything. The fonts used, everything. The fact that it's all black. I have to see what I'm showing you here. Maybe you can see the label if the light falls on it. Maybe you can't. I don't know. Let's get to the scent. So this type of bottle, the Graziel, the skyscraper bottle, I thought it would be a lot taller. I think it's the same height as the Matin Lutens, you know, like Dans les Bleus qui Pétillent, the lighter, grayer labeled bottles, I think. It's interesting because I'm experiencing the opening from a fresh bottle for the very first time. It's different than a decant, you know. The fragrance itself and the opening is very fresh and also very, very complex, because now that I know I am familiar with this scent, I can already tell you the multitude of the florals. The multitude, you know, there's at least 2 floral impressions in this scent, and they are very clearly violet and chrysanthemum. Now, chrysanthemum is something that they cite, you know, as a note, as a main player, but I don't think, I'm pretty sure that chrysanthemum is not an ingredient, it's just a note. It's an imaginary, it's a recomposed something, an accord, right? I don't know how it's recomposed, but let me tell you, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous rendition of a chrysanthemum scent. Chrysanthemums, let me go on about chrysanthemums for some time. Let me have my little moment. I think I said this before, but in my country, chrysanthemums are associated with the month of September, which is the return, you know, it's the back to school month. I know for some other countries that's August, but for us it's September. And because in Romania, and I think in the entire of Eastern Europe, I think that this might be a Soviet thing. Chrysanthemums are also very common in autumn, and because of this they were associated with the back to school events. So when I was in first grade, when I first entered school, we had a chrysanthemum flower waiting for us on our first book, which is the ABC book, right? And it was there, and I think that same tradition, I don't think it applies anymore. I don't think people do this anymore. But I think that people from my generation remember this as a thing, right? So I remember being a small child at 7 years old, picking up that flower, and I will never forget that smell. That smell is exactly like this. It's a white floral smell, which is very, very interesting. It's also almost like a fougere, bitter, plasticky, enveloping, very vegetal type of smell. When I first smelled De Profundis, I remember associating this smell with the smell of a tulip, which is also very interesting to me. As a spring floral, tulips don't necessarily have a very potent smell, but they do smell. You have to get really, really close. And also, it's a leafy type of smell. And I remember playing with the leaves of a tulip. If you press into them with your nail, the portion that you bruised, a bruised leaf of a tulip becomes almost purple. And this is, again, something I associate with the smell. And also the color purple. This is why I kind of wanted to have the bell jar just for the beautiful color of the fragrance itself. You cannot appreciate it here. However, I do find that this is a more somber type of bottle, and it kind of works better with this type of smell. And it's not that tall. I could probably fit it in there somewhere. I believe that the main player in this fragrance is neither tulips or chrysanthemums. I believe it's just a violet, because at the end of the day, I think it's just a violet inspired smell. I think it stems directly from an Après Ende type of scent, right? Which is perfect as a reference. Then again, it takes me into, because this is a juxtaposition between this violet, almost violently blue purplish type of smell, and this very somber resinous, because this is a hyper chypre. This is more than a chypre scent. This is perfection. It's got a resinous background, which is somber, baritone, bitter, grave, right? Grave as in baritone, but also grave as in cemetery as well, because this is a very funeral type of scent. And I think those chrysanthemums also play a role in that funeral feeling. Now, that juxtaposition also takes me to thinking of Vol de Nuit, and by extension to Chanel's number 19. I think this triad, this Après Ende, Vol de Nuit, and Chanel number 19 are, you know, the basis from which this beautiful fragrance emerges. This and Christopher Sheldrake's, God, I mean, it's a Serge Lutens. Of course there's honey in this. Of course there's this almost rectangular perfection in architecture. It's gorgeous. I don't have words to describe how much I appreciate this scent. Let's talk about the reference, right? Let's talk about the name, because I spoke about Après Ende, which is a, you know, it's 1904 or 1906. It's a turn of the century fragrance. You know what else happened a few years earlier than 1900 something? It was 1897 when Oscar Wilde was being imprisoned in the Reading jail. We all know why. And he was writing his letter to Alfred Bosie called De Profundis, which is a reference to a psalm. Is it 103? Is it 130? I don't know. It's the one with De Profundis clamavi, right? Which is, from the depths I cried. I yelled, not cried. I called. That's the better translation. Clamavi from Latin is I called. From the depths I called. I yelled. I, screamed. I tried to get in touch. This is what clamavi means. And, I was just thinking, is it a coincidence? I don't know. This is just my brain at work here. My mind making associations. Is it a coincidence to choose? I mean, there's probably another mind process involved here, but here's my mind process. To take another fragrance, which is so, I'm talking about Après l'Onde, which is so illustrative, I don't know how to say, for the turn of the century, or at least for the beginning of the 20th century, and to associate it with another moment, which is, they're not happening in tandem, but it's just some years apart. To take something, two moments, one is a horrific moment that's happening to another human being, and he's letting us know through his letter about his life and feelings and how he, fares under a brutal, oppressive system. And in the same, not the same country, but the same Europe, there's also artistic, beautiful things being created, such as Après l'Onde, right? It's the same system that gave us Après l'Onde also gave us De Profundis. And I think Christopher Sheldrake is playing upon this, duality, both horror and artistry, in giving us a very funeral, grave, baritone, serious, a very serious scent, such as De Profundis is. Now, I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I really, really think there's more to De Profundis and Serge Lutens than meets the eye, Also, I said it's a hyper-chypre. This fragrance has a trajectory. It starts, as I said, it starts very floral, chrysanthemum-y, violet, tulip. Then it gradually becomes more earthy and more wet, more soil, actual soil, very funeral scent, very close to the earth, to the idea of a cemetery. It's a very Halloweeny, it's a Halloweeny scent. It's something I'll definitely wear this end of October. And yeah, well, I don't know, it's something that's very, very special. I don't think it's that never smelled before type of scent. It's just a violet scent, right? How many violet scents are there? But this one is special because it's a very correctly created, crafted chypre scent. Goes through all the stages, and all the stages are very powerful. They're very contrasting. They leave a very strong mark upon you when you're smelling them. And as I said, this has a trajectory, and it darkens and darkens and darkens and becomes very grave, metallic, earthy, dark composition, which is, yeah, it's something I really, really like. I think I said that 100 times. Now, just to let this settle for a bit, let's smell some other Serge Lutens. And let me tell you what else I have here. This is my my sample pack that I received. One of them is not from here because they only give you 4 samples, but I happen to have another Serge Lutens sample, and we're going to smell them all today. I chose 4 samples because, as I said, I'm very interested in Serge Lutens now. I have never since Guerlain have I been so moved by a fragrance house before as I am now by Serge Lutens. So we're going to smell Parole d'eau from the Matin Lutens, then simply L'eau, again from the same collection, Nuit de Cellophane, just has an interesting name. I wanted to see what that's about. Fleurs d'oranger, which is, I know this one, and I will get this very soon. And from the Graziel collection, Fumerie Turque, right? So let's start with the Matin Lutens, because these are just maybe a bit lighter and easier on the nose. And let's see. Oh, these samples are quite, you know, they're not full. Stingy, Serge Lutens. Stingy. This is L'eau. Simply. I love the Matin Lutens collection. I only know, that's very silly to say, but I only know Dans les Bleus qui pétillent. But I love that fragrance so much. Oh. Huh, this is green, musky, citrusy fresh. Quite, you know, quite a typical eau de cologne type of smell. Classical, I should say, traditional. There's something bitter in this, which I love so much. I know that they do work with Artemisia, or as they call it, Armoise, quite often, as testament to the L'eau d'Armoise that I also have, and to my latest surprise, which was Participe Passé, which also employs quite a lot of Artemisia. This is soapy and clean, and it's that sort of invisible scent. I do appreciate it very, very much when they create this invisible sort of scent, which is sort of enveloping you in a, you know, something that you know it's there, but it does not bother you or anyone else. This is just something so sheer. Just like L'eau d'Armoise, I believe. It's sweetish bitter at the same time. Very classy. They cite musk, aldehydes, citruses, clary sage, magnolia, and mint. Well, no Artemisia cited, but you don't know for sure. It's something, as I said, it's citrusy, very, very easy, very sheer, something I would definitely love having. Now, let's smell Parole d'eau, which is the word of water. Okay, so this has to be the typical way that they fill samples. Oh, it's just 1 milliliter, because the bottle itself is 2 milliliter, and they just give you my god, the stinginess. Oh, this is this seems more hefty. Parole d'eau. They cite pine needles, eucalyptus, citruses, and musk. It's definitely piney and camphorous. Oh wow, it's very camphorous. It has that cool inducing effect. It's like it's stealing all the heat. I guess this should feel very, very interesting on the skin. Imagine when it's very hot outside and you're coming out from the shower and you're dousing yourself in this, which is purely eucalyptus. It kind of makes my eyes water for a bit. This could get very interesting very fast. All right, but I cannot keep smelling this because it's making my eyes water. It's a gorgeous scent. This is very much something I would love to have. My God, this is the most camphorous smell ever. Now let's get to something a bit more hefty, and let's talk about Fleurs d'Oranger. Now, to disclose that I've smelled this before, it was quite a few years ago, and I remember thinking this was the most beautiful, and this is not an overstatement, this was the most beautiful orange blossom smell I had ever smelled in 2018. I'm very curious if something has changed. Very curious. Nope. Well, that was a fast nope, but it's still a gorgeous scent. Orange blossom, musky, floral. It's more floral than citrusy. It's full and it's velvety. It's a bit minty. It's honeyed. Again, it's a must-have to me. It's a gorgeous scent. Hands down. I don't know if it's still the most beautiful orange blossom. It's a very tough statement. I'll have to think on this, but it's definitely something I adore. I mean, it's something I really must have. It reminds me of Fleur de Mal, which is a fragrance love of mine. No longer available in some form. I have to smell the new A Pomme by MFK. I haven't. I will. But this is just gorgeous, and I'm suspecting not as expensive as the new A Pomme. Yeah, I know this one. I have to get it. Now let's burn through them. Let's smell Nuit de Cellophane. This is such an interesting name to me. I don't know the reference. I don't know what it means. I know nothing. Is it related to cellophane? The cling wrap? I don't know. Huh. I really have to wait a bit before, but I'm so curious. I really stuck my nose in there, got a little burned. Smells vaguely musky. It's like that sort of transparent scent that they do sometime. It's vaguely musky, vaguely floral with that magnolia, something that I cite as magnolia many times. It's that floral musk. Does smell a bit plasticky, but I don't believe there's an association there. Let's see what they cite here. Oh my, osmanthus, jasmine, lily, fruity notes, mandarin, green notes, honey, musk, carnation, almond, woody notes. No magnolia, but white floral. Sweetish, but berry. That turns indeed vegetal, turns into a rather chypre base, it feels like I'm smelling a jumble of things. I would really love to know the reference for this. It was introduced in 2009. No information on the name. Nuit de Cellophane. Why is it called this? If you know, let me know. A luminous, fruity and delicate perfume from Serge Lutens Collection Noire. Okay. Now the Collection Noire is just I think it's their middle collection, the mainstream collection, I don't know how to call it. But they say nothing. I think the mandarin is quite obvious. And it's very effervescent, it's very fruity, sweetish, zesty. Huh, but there's nothing on the name. Oh, that's a shame. Well, let's leave you here until we go to the last one, which is Fumerie Turque. Now this is something from the more expensive collection, their exclusive line. I think Serge Lutens have managed to remain a sort of, I mean, it feels like all Serge Lutens is exclusive, right? No matter what you buy from Serge Lutens, it feels like an exclusive something. Maybe it's the color scheme, I don't know, but I'm such a sucker for this. Oh, smoky fruity scent. It smells just like when you open a pack of tobacco you use for a hookah. Yeah, that's what you call it, a hookah, right? Because it smells just like this. It's like jammy fruits. It's almost like something edible, but very, very smoky. It's kind of the same opening as with Participe Passé, but with Participe Passé things turn very, very bitter, very Artemisia, very, very fast. I don't know about this one. Oh, something very interesting emerges, something very akin to Ambre Sultan, which is a honey, very light honey smell, and Cherki at the same time. It's like I'm smelling a mixture between Participe Passé minus the bitterness, just the fruity smoke, Ambre Sultan with its honeyed iris sweetness, and Cherki with its freshness. Oh yes, this is gorgeous. Fumerie Turque. I don't know, it sort of overlaps with, there's a lot of things that overlap here. A blonde, honeyed and smoked perfume in Serge Lutens Gratte-Ciel collection. Notes tobacco, honey and vanilla. Well, this is very reductionist. There's a lot more things going on here. From 2003, my goodness. Tobacco, honey, suede. And there's, you know, behind that suede note, let me tell you, there's the iris note. Definitely. Because it's the same, you know, suede-y thing that you can find in, I think, Ambre Sultan. Patchouli, tonka, vanilla, styrax, chamomile, juniper, Turkish rose, and red currant, which is a berry. I think it's most akin to Cherki, if you ask me. Only this one is maybe a tad smokier, but this is, it's gorgeous. It's so gourmand-like, but in a very, very good way, in a very good way, very stylish way. Now let's take them all one more time, and then we'll get back to De Profundis, if I can do that anymore. Parole d'eau. Good news about Parole d'eau is it became more minty, but if you ask me, I get a clear note of chamomile. I saw chamomile in Fumerie Turque, and now my brain started thinking of chamomile, but I definitely can detect a chamomile-ish tea note in L'eau de Serge Lutens. It's a very beautiful scent, very sheer, very, very fresh. Now, let's see the Camphorous Bomb. Oh no, I mixed them up. Sorry, this was Parole d'eau, which was the Camphorous one. And good news is, again, the camphor died down a bit, and it's still true about the chamomile note. And now let's see the other one, which was L'eau. L'eau is very sheer, and that's it. It's a transparent scent, doesn't smell, it's almost like it smells of nothing, which isn't true. It's very, very delicate. It's musky, just a bit vegetal. They cite mint. I still remain at the idea of a bit of Artemisia in there, but it's just, it's not even here although it is here. And the next one is Fleurs d'Oranger, which is perfection. Oh my god. I think after I end this video, I'll get on it and just buy it. I've prolonged this long enough. It's just perfect. It's a perfect orange blossom scent. What else is there to be said? It's simple, it's honeyed, it's Serge Lutens. I love it. Nuit de Cellophane. Again, there's something very interesting. I still believe it's a musky, fruity floral, and there is something about this fragrance that reminds me of Sécrétion Magnifique. It's that watery, salty something. Might be the osmanthus, not sure. But this is an interesting scent. I need some time with this if I'm ever to decide if I like it or not. And the last one is Fumerie Turque. I cannot put my finger on it, but I feel like I already have this fragrance. Maybe it's something at Guerlain, but let me tell you, this does smell very, very Guerlain. I have this already. What is it? Couldn't tell you. Now let's get back to this gorgeous scent. This is, and combined with all the other scents that I've smelled today, and I have here with me, this is in its musky floral stage still, but it is becoming gradually darker. I don't know what else to say about this fragrance. This, I think, it's one of the best crafted scents, one of the best references in a scent that I've smelled or read, and that's it, you know. It's just perfection. It's something you need to smell de Profundis, keeping everything I said in mind, right? Keeping all the references in mind, keeping all the things we've discussed about the flowers involved, all the other inspirations maybe for the scent. But it is just gorgeous. So let's end on this. If you have any other questions regarding any of the scents we've spoken about today, do let me know in the comments. And until next time, remember, fragrance creates memories, and may yours be happy.